you're dealing with people's pay, and whether it's actual mistakes that occur in the calculation or the perception of a mistake, you deal with people that feel, like their compensation is not being calculated correctly. So there's automatically this tension, potentially hostility, right? The sellers may not be aware of all the complexity and the time and effort required to get to an outcome because they just perceive it as, well, it's this simple. Why can't it be done? And so, are there any tactics that you recommend to kind of bring hostility down, level set, and reestablish trust when you're kind of potentially working from a negative position?
What we call the anger cycle, right?
Okay.
So when people are angry or upset, like you described, say, this isn't working right. People
Yeah.
become angry when their world is out of sync, when they don't understand, because we get up every day and we anticipate what's going to happen every day. And if something happens that we didn't anticipate, our world gets out of sync. And then we go like, whoa, what's going on? And they tend to get a little angry. So the first thing you want to do is you want to provide an explanation. Use empathic statements. So you're pretty upset about this mistake. And they'll go, yeah, yes, I am. And they say, okay, let me explain to you the process, how it works. And if you're lucky enough, their world then becomes what? Back in sync, because now they understand the process. Then you allow that person to vent. Because once you give you're pretty upset about this. Well, yes, I am, because blah, 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 blah. And so then another empathic statement. So you're upset because this didn't work out or that didn't work out. Use an empathic statement. An empathic statement is nothing more than mirroring back to somebody their feelings, their thoughts, their words, their emotions.
Yeah.
And so you want to let that person vent a little bit. And so that's usually the first venting empathic statement. If the explanation doesn't work, then they get vent, you allow them to vent, empathic statement comes in,
Yep.
and then they're going to vent again because now you're listening. They're going like, whoa, this person's listening. Now
Yep.
they're going to vent again, another empathic statement, and it's difficult for somebody to be angry for a long time unless you're throwing fuel on the fire. So your goal is just mirror back to them what they're telling you. Then when they get to the point where they're done venting, because once they're venting, you cannot engage them in logical thought because they're not thinking, they're just venting. And it's a physiological thing that's attached to that fight flight response. So anyway, then you'll see the what? Shoulders go down, exhale at a breath, I'm done. And that's when you come in with what I call a presumptive statement. That is a course of action you present to that person that they have a very difficult time refusing. In that situation, I would say, so let's sit down and then we can go over it line by line and correct the problem. What's the person going to say? No, I want to stay angry and I want the problem to continue.
Yeah.
No, you see how you don't engage with angry people, because if you get angry and they're angry, now you're in a kind of a death spiral.